Hi, guys. Welcome to the AMP podcast. This is season 3, episode 2, and we're calling this Motto Mortgage One. I'm Mark D'Andrea, the doctor of real estate. Around the table with me are Justin Humphreys, my cohort and co-leader. Welcome, Justin.
Hello. Great to be back.
Glad to be here.
Yep.
Okay, good. Kelly Whittington from Auto Mortgage and Kyle Dynes from Auto Mortgage. Guys, really appreciate you guys coming in and taking the time to share your expertise with our audience. Guys, don't forget to like and subscribe on all your favorite podcast libraries. We'd love to grow the podcast so we can help more agents and more folks of the buying and selling public. So, Justin, start us off.
Well, we want to give a quick shout out to our sponsors. We couldn't do this without our sponsors. We have one of them in-house today, Motto Mortgage One, also Vault Title, Safe Pro Home Warranty, and D.R. Horton. Thank you very much to our sponsors.
Thanks,
like
guys.
Mark said, we have Kyle and Kelly from Motto Mortgage One here in the building today. Our Red One Realty in-house lending company. Great partners.
Yes.
Very valued sponsors, and we appreciate you guys being here today.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. I figured we might just get a quick kind of catch up with you guys about how you got involved with the lending industry and how you got involved with Red One Realty, if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah, I'll give you a quick synopsis. I've been doing this for 22 years now. Started when I was a sophomore at Ohio State. Just kind of kept moving, ended up at a couple larger banks. Figured out that the larger banks, you're in a box, per se, and pulled myself into the broker side, which opened up a lot more channels. Met Kelly through the path of moving forward, and here we are. So Mike Hall and Ken Fairchild had reached out to me probably 6 years ago now, requesting some information about starting a mortgage company within Red One. Asked if I had some interest in doing that, and met with those guys for lunch, and asked a bunch of questions, asked where they wanted this to go, what their vision was, and fell in love with the idea. And here we are 6 years later.
Were you guys I ran into you guys at Colblay one day in Uptown Westerville.
That was one of the meetings.
That was one of the lunches. Yeah. Okay,
yeah,
gotcha.
Absolutely.
That's
world
great.
is very small.
It is a small world, absolutely. Well, we're very happy to have you guys as our in-house lender, obviously, and great partners. Kelly, what about you? What did your path look like to get into this?
Oh, my goodness. I started this way back in the early 90s. So I've been doing this for quite some time. Started out with the big banks, spent 30 years at one of the banks, then went to another bank. And I just decided that I wanted to get into a different type of environment where I have more control over the process. When you're with a bigger bank, you have kind of like an assembly line of people that are touching files, and it takes much longer to get an answer to your client, or if you need a quick close. It was virtually impossible to do at the bigger institutions. So I had an opportunity to, like Kyle, open another Motto franchise about 6 years ago. And then moved over to this Motto just about 1 year ago today, pretty much.
Yeah,
so,
pretty close.
And I just really like the fact that we have a lot of control over what we're doing and making a seamless process for all involved, the agents, the clients, everybody. So it's a much cleaner, smoother process.
Yeah, absolutely.
I heard willingness and desire to educate, to be of assistance, wanting to control that process more, and you found that at kind of in the brokerage space,
Correct.
rather than the big bank space.
Correct, 100%. And I took what I've learned from the 22 years experience, and when Mike and Ken said, hey, this is your animal, treat it the way you want, design it the way you want, I took everything that I've learned that works and implemented a system that I thought was going to get us there faster.
Yes.
And my first thing was less touches. There should only be a couple people in the file. That file should not go from state to state, company to company. It should be the loan officer, the processor, the underwriter, period. And that's what we built.
I love that.
Yeah, and you've both touched on it. As realtors, There's times where we come in contact with buyers that are pre-approved when they come to us, and we see Huntington on a pre-approval. And I'm sorry, I don't mean to name drop, but
we say a bank name.
we see a big box bank on the pre-approval, and we just cringe immediately because historically that's been the experience, right? A lot of people in the file, a little bit slower closing times, less coordinated communication, and what you just described as that streamline, yourself, the underwriter, is much faster, much easier, and much better for you to handle any issues that might pop up.
100%.
Yeah.
It's all about the client buyer.
Yeah.
You guys have a mission statement. Let's wrap this up by what's your mission statement?
We're trying to close them faster or cheaper.
Faster for cheaper. Love that.
Faster for cheaper.
Well, before we close it up, I think, Kyle, you and Kelly both had a couple things that you wanted to touch on that are great value adds that you bring to the table. You want to go first, Kelly?
Absolutely. One thing a lot of clients don't realize is when you are putting less than 20% down, you do have mortgage insurance that is part of your monthly payment. And a lot of people don't understand that those mortgage insurance rates can be substantially different from one lender to another. Since Kyle and I have the opportunity to send our loans to one of the biggest lenders in the country, they have the very cheapest, lowest mortgage insurance rates in the industry. And I did a comparison for somebody that brought me their loan estimate from one of the bigger banks, and it was a $450,000 transaction, and their mortgage insurance was almost double what I was able to offer. It was a difference of $180 on that monthly payment. So not only is it important for your client to understand what they're getting from their lender as far as that total monthly payment, it's very much like your homeowner's insurance. Those premiums vary from company to company. So that's something very important when you do have a client that's putting less than 20% down, that mortgage insurance monthly cost can be pretty substantial and make a huge difference in that monthly payment.
You love educating your buyers. It's
And that's
coming
what
through loud and clear.
That's really what it boils down to. I've had several buyers come back and say, hey, well, their rate's lower.
Yeah.
I said, listen, just take a look at the settlement statement that I'm sending you.
Yeah.
Even though that their rate may be a touch better, my payment's still $80 cheaper. The rate means nothing at the end of the day. It's what is your payment? What is included in that payment? And that's what we really strive to make sure that we develop, that spreadsheet of, hey, here's your options. Which one is best for you guys?
Well, and there's also a lot of lenders out there that will tell their client, well, we're not charging you any points, but then they have an origination fee and they have other fees that they're not fully explaining to their clients. So their total cost to get into the home may be higher. We might be able to pay a little bit of a discount point, get them a better deal than what they're getting. But, again, some loan officers don't fully educate their client and tell them what they're paying for and what those fees are. So it's really important to have somebody educate the client, especially your first-time home buyers.
And that's a critical kind of transfer. It's not the right word, but as a buying agent, we're educating our clients and bringing them assistance and facts and expertise. We feel the same way you guys feel about wanting to have that control. We want to refer our buying and selling clients to a trusted vendor partner. That's either Motto Mortgage or it could be your favorite lender outside of Motto Mortgage. But the point is making sure that education, that assistance feeling continues. And we have a great amount of trust that when we hand over buyers or suggest Motto Mortgage to our buying clients, that they're going to get taken care of.
We appreciate that.
It's really important.
So faster by streamlining, less people touching the file.
Yep.
Cheaper by discounted mortgage insurance rates like you had just described. And there's another feature, Kyle, that you wanted to talk about that can also help with that cheaper aspect as well.
Yeah, just real quick about the cheaper aspect that we've been talking about. We're a small boutique style lender. We don't have the billboards. We don't have the commercials. We pass that savings directly to your clients. That's a huge help. Another thing that we're going to start doing May 1st. We're going to test the market in May as we're going to cover appraisal costs
Wow.
for the clients, which saves them another $600.
Yeah. That's awesome. So when I do my buyer consultations, that's always one of the upfront costs that I tell buyers about, because not a lot of people, if you're not buying a house, you're not worried about an appraisal or what it costs or, where it comes from. But that $600-700 is a big savings, especially if you got a first-time home buyer that's tight on cash. That makes a big difference to them throughout the process. So
we're just trying to save every way we can, and we figured that this might be a good start for the market and see what happens.
Operating efficiency, in-house, and taking the savings that you can offer to folks, and rather than keeping it within Motto Mortgage, you're passing it on to our clients. Can't
100%.
love that.
Absolutely.
awesome. Well, that's a great chance for us to take a quick break to hear from two of our sponsors, one of which is sitting right here. We're going to be right back with segment 2, the AMP Action Plan, right after this. Hey, folks, thanks for watching the AMP podcast. I want to give a shout out to one of our sponsors, Motto Mortgage One. Motto focuses on being not like those big banks and using modern technology-driven tools to simplify the home loan process for buyers. Motto Mortgage works to make your deal close faster, cheaper. So reach out to Motto Mortgage One today, where Kyle and Kelly are more than happy to help you with your home buying process. Thank you to our sponsor, Vault Title. The way they can help you is prior to closing, Vault Title will conduct your title search, coordinate all the aspects of the title services with the appropriate parties. They're going to prepare all your necessary documents, schedule your settlement. During the closing, they're going to be accounting for all your funds, reviewing closing documents, dispersing all the mortgage loan and sale proceeds. And after closing, they're going to satisfy all lender requirements, record your transfer documents, and issue your title insurance policy. Whether you're a buyer or seller or an agent looking for a great title company, reach out to Vault Title today, 614-324-2580, or email them team@vault-title.com.
Welcome back to the AMP podcast. That stands for Agent Mentorship Platform. Please don't forget to visit us at www.agentmentorshipplatform.com. Like and subscribe on all your favorite podcast libraries. This section, Justin, the action plan sponsored by Motto Mortgage. These are 1 or 2 actionable tips that our agents ask us on a consistent basis. We're going to have Kelly and Kyle dip in. But before we do that, Daniel, I had a quick question for you. Before the podcast started, you were asking me about, did this past winter kind of slow things down, or were there any significant changes in the business? What made you think about that particular question? Where's that? You're a member of the public. Where'd that thinking come from?
So my thinking, I guess it's cold. People aren't walking out to go see houses right now. They don't want to go or I guess sell too, because then they have to prep. They have to make their house look good and do all the effort and the energy it takes. I would assume winter is just a slower season.
It's a great question. And when I responded before you guys got here, and Daniel and I have talked about this before, there are things that happen in people's lives unrelated to, weather or a particular time of year, and that's what drives our market. I thought it was a really interesting question, and appreciate you giving us your input, Daniel. Thank you for that. 1 or 2 actionable steps. Justin?
Well, mine, we talk about it a lot on the AMP platform with our agents, is pretty simple. We call it the pillars of prospecting. So I think that it's extremely important for any agent to identify the techniques in their business that they are going to use to fill their pipeline and to stay in touch with their sphere that they have currently. We call those the pillars of prospecting. We have a meeting with each of our AMP agents where we go through all the different techniques that they can use, and they pick the ones that fit them the best. So examples of that are consistently texting, emailing, direct messaging your sphere, handwritten letters, invites for lunch, pop-bys for your clients, your newsletter, your social media presence, all those different things. We identify the areas where agents feel comfortable and confident, and we help them set goals to help improve the way that they're filling their pipeline and staying in top of mind with their sphere. So The Pillars of Prospecting is a great tool. If you're an AMP agent that has not had that meeting with us yet, please do that. If you're an agent out there that's not on AMP and you're watching this, contact us if you need help with it. But it's a great idea for you to look at your business and figure out those avenues and methods that fit you best to help you fill your pipeline and stay top of mind with your current sphere.
Kelly, Kyle, how do you guys handle that in your business? So to give you a sense of it, we are reaching out to connect, educate, communicate, and assist the largest number of people that can stand us, right? And then, we want to take that to a consultation stage in the relationship so we can get a clear understanding of what is it that they're trying to achieve, buying or selling. And then, of course, the transaction follows. Is there something in your business that you guys do every day, similar to what Justin just described, as it relates to, hey, I get up, I've got this task list, or I've got this schedule. How does that work for you guys?
100%. I mean, it's the same in our world, just a little different. With me, I like to do the Facebook social media a lot with how quickly we can close. I think that when you're posting a picture of, hey, clear to close in 7 days, a lot of agents see that.
I'm only chuckling because that's just outstanding.
It is funny. I do get so much. People are like, how are you doing that? Like over and over and over again. And it goes back to the first segment. It's just we have developed a system that works.
Yeah.
And I explain that to every single buyer up front. So to get back to prospecting, stuff like that, it's just repeatedly pushing quicker, faster, cheaper. And it's catching on.
Love that. Kelly?
In my case, it's just staying in touch with a lot of the people that I've worked with in the past, the agents that I've worked, the financial advisors that I've worked with, divorce attorneys in some cases where they're splitting up households and, need a new home or need to refinance. I also have agents that have utilized a report that I can provide, which is called a house canary report. And I try to send that to clients that I've closed loans for on an annual basis so they can see how much their home has appreciated.
Yes.
And it keeps my name in front of them if they have friends or family that are looking to, maybe purchase a new home. I'm top of mind. So it's really important to do that. I've also provided the house canary reports to agents that want to market a particular neighborhood or they've picked out a street. And they've sent the house canaries to them. And it's very much like an appraisal report that gives them detailed information as to a range of value of their property. It also gives comparable sales that have sold in the neighborhood. I give that to my agents, too, that are working with buyers that they want to know, how close they are on their client's offer. And, maybe it helps them get that offer accepted. So it works both ways. If you're going on a listing appointment, that it's got all that detailed information about the property. So my previous buyers find it useful, as do the agents that I work with. So that's one way to keep me in front of people.
I love that. Justin, you are the reason for my actionable tips.
Oh, thank you, Mark.
You're welcome.
Well, maybe. I haven't heard it yet.
We haven't heard it all yet.
Yeah.
So we run a team of right now about 116 agents are on the platform. Our goal is to grow that to 200 by the end of the year. And one of the consistent questions or areas, especially with newer agents, that they ask me about a lot is, how do I keep my passion for real estate in front of me every day? And 6 or 8 months ago, probably 8, you really dug into Pillars of Prospecting. And the Zoom calls and the personal meetings that our agents have with you, they come out of those with a tremendous amount of information and knowledge, and it's very, very helpful. And it starts with 2 things. The second one is the one that I'm stealing from you. You have a vision for what you want to achieve in your business year over year. In our case, it's growth of transactions. Every new agent must have that written down and in front of them every day. And we coach that a bunch. So a vision sheet, it's that simple. That's part of my answer to them. The other one is affirmations. And we've all kind of, the mission statement that you guys have, Kyle, at Motto Mortgage, these are repeatable affirmations that every day in our real estate life. We have them listed out. We coach our agents to do that. And it's just reminding yourself that this is why I'm in real estate. This is what I'm passionate about. This is what I intend to achieve. So if you're starting a business in real estate, have a vision.
Mm-hmm.
And by all means, keep yourself consistent. I'm not going to give away some thunder from later because we've got some more comments about this, but keep yourself consistent with daily affirmations.
Daily affirmations is a big one.
There you go. Those are my actionable tips. Vision
I love
sheet,
that.
affirmations.
I love that. All right. Well, that's going to take us right into our next segment, which is our Agent Spotlight, sponsored by our in-house title company, Vault Title.
Thank you, Vault.
Thank you, Vault. Mark, I think I might have started the last one, so I'm going to throw it to you.
Thank you.
Any AMP agents out there that just are spectacular standouts that you want to give a shout out to today?
Well, a number of the AMP agents have gotten into a habit of Zooming with me in particular, but with the co-leaders every week. And so there's a number of them out there that do a really good job with this. I want to highlight Lori Spoon. Lori Spoon and I were meeting this morning before the AMP podcast recording. She comes into that office every Tuesday morning. She arrives at 9. She has a time block of 3 hours focused on just real estate. She spends an hour of it with me every Tuesday. She comes in with a task list. She comes in with her schedule laid out, and we knock out a lot of really good things in that hour. Lori Spoon her growth within her real estate business has been outstanding. I would say the last 6 to 8 months, I really see her gaining a lot of traction. So Lori Spoon, great work. Really appreciate you, and thanks for meeting with us every week. Lori Spoon.
Shout out to Lori Spoon for sure. I've Zoomed with her a lot as well, and she's always a pleasure.
You talk about your
There we
person.
go. Sorry about that.
Got you handled.
So my AMP agent spotlight for today, I wanted to give a big shout out to one of our AMP agents, Damu Adhikari. Damu has been on the platform for maybe a year or two. Can't remember exactly off the top of my head, but over the past 6 months, Damu has just been out there getting
Crushing
after it. He's an investor, a renovator, does his own flips, sells those, works with tons of buyers and sellers. He's got multiple things in contract, multiple things in the pipeline. And when we meet, it's usually about, hey, I just closed this deal. Can you help me get my paperwork submitted? Or, hey, my listing's on the market. Buyers just came in. This just happened. How should we approach this? So shout out to Damu. We see you out there crushing it, brother, and we're very happy for you and proud of you, and wanted to give you a shout out today.
Well done, Damu.
Kyle and Kelly, being our in-house lender at Red One Realty, you guys have had a lot of exposure to agents that are on our platform. Is there anybody that you guys wanted to give a shout out to?
I can pick several, but I'll just kind of give you guys a little brief. I've talked to many of agents, and they've all asked me, hey, what can we do on our side to help you guys?
Mm-hmm.
And I can tell you 3 tips that I tell every agent. Make sure that you're asking the question, where do you think your credit scores are?
Mm-hmm.
Are you working full time? Do you have money for down payment? I mean, those simple 3 questions, you're not poking and prodding, you're just opening up more conversation.
Yeah.
But you're going to be able to tell really where that client needs help right off the bat.
Yeah.
And a lot of agents from the AMP platform have really taken that and ran with it.
Yeah. Red One provides
So I just heard him say every agent mentorship platform agent is awesome.
Yeah,
That's how I just
translation.
interpreted that.
It's just they're open to learn.
Yeah.
It seems like they're eager to get better.
Yeah. Red One provides a buyer's consultation template for us to use if we want to use it. And one of the slides on that template is, are you ready to buy? And those 3 or 4 things that you just mentioned are big and bold when we go through that. So it's definitely a great conversation to have.
I mean, because I think that really separates an agent from an order taker.
Mm-hmm.
The conversation, opening up, how deep can you go?
Caring about being of assistance and educating them versus, hey, if you can buy, I'm ready. If you can't, I need to move on.
Yep,
That's
100%.
just not the way to go about it.
Awesome. Well, with that, we're going to take another quick commercial break to hear from Safe Pro Home Warranty and DR Horton. And when we come back, we are going to be talking about our Ask the Coach segment. We'll be right back. Hey guys, thanks for tuning into the AMP podcast. We want to give a quick shout out to one of our great sponsors at Safe Pro Home Warranty. Diana and Clayton have got you covered. If you move into your house within the first year and something goes wrong, like your hot water tank, your air conditioner, or your furnace, they are going to help you cover the cost of that so you don't have to do the whole thing out of pocket. So reach out to Diana and Clayton today to get your coverage set up at Safe Pro Home Warranty. Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in, and a big shout out to one of our sponsors, D.R. Horton, specifically Justin Phillips and Dusty Riffle with D.R. Horton. Guys, if you're looking for a new build home, D.R. Horton, one of the largest builders in America, has 17 communities across Central Ohio. They offer below market interest rates. They offer closing cost incentives. They offer home warranties, and they have many, many move-in ready options. If you need help looking at new build homes today, reach out to D.R. Horton. Justin Phillips and Dusty Riffle are there to help you.
Welcome back to the AMP Podcast, Season 3, Episode 2, Motto Mortgage 1. Had to reread that. This is the Ask the Coach section of our podcast, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Sponsored by Safe Pro Home Warranty. In this segment, we're going to present questions that we get submitted by AMP members and just kind of discuss that around the table. Justin, what are some questions that our agent mentorship platform agents ask you often?
Yeah, one that just came up this week that segues perfectly into you guys being here today. I had an AMP agent, and I actually have a deal as well that's a VA deal right now that's in contract on my listing. And I have a buyer's agent on the AMP team that reached out to me about questions about VA as well, and it comes to the appraisal. VA appraisal is always kind of not a scary thing, but you need to be aware of it and what the restrictions.
More subject to stuff.
More subject to, exactly.
100%.
Repair conditions. So the question was, as far as when repair conditions come up on a VA appraisal, what is the fix for that? And we've been through it a lot, but I figured we'd discuss it a little bit today. From your guys' perspective, for VA appraisals, repair conditions, items, things like that, what's your approach to that? What do you see commonly that comes up? And I think we talked a little bit outside that there may be some changes coming up to that soon.
100%.
There are some changes that are taking place on May the 1st. And a lot of people are really afraid of the VA loan. And honestly, in my opinion, it's probably one of the best loans out there. It has the highest closure rate. The fees are, the interest rates are probably the lowest right now of any program out there. But a lot of people, buyers and sellers, do have a lot of fear on that appraisal issue. The changes that are coming on May the 1st are pertaining to the chipping and peeling paint. And that was always the case, even on properties that were built after 1978, that you potentially had to have somebody go out and scrape the paint and repaint it, and then have the appraiser go back out and inspect that.
Whether it was a garage or the house or
Right.
a shed.
Yeah.
So they're changing that also to the outbuildings, a detached garage, a shed, something like that, that is no longer going to be an issue. So that's very exciting news. The other issues that come up on a VA loan are the life expectancy of a roof, if there's issues on that. And the other big one is handrails. If there's more than 2 steps, there needs to be a handrail there. And then also health and safety issues. If there's exposed wires or something like that, that's going to be a problem. But again, it's going to be a problem with any loan if, some of those type things are notated on the report. But good news on the paint issue for sure.
Love that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. What I've run into and seen is the chipped and peeling paint, especially on sheds. It's such a hassle. You know, it's the buyers come to you and say, it's not even touching the house. Why do we have to worry about this?
Right.
But it's just one of those guidelines that we have to kind of be aware of and be ready to tackle. And typically there's somebody in the transaction that's willing to say, I'll go out and scrape and paint that. We'll get that taken care of.
And here's another thing, just what Motto Mortgage One does outside of, other places that I've noticed. We get the appraisal immediately. The minute it comes, I'm reading through it, Kelly's reading through it. If there are issues, I'm sending directly to the agent. Hey, here's what we need to tackle. Let's make sure that we're on top of this. This is going to delay closing.
Yeah.
Just communication.
Yes.
Anywhere in the program or anywhere in the transaction. As long as you're communicating, it's an easy deal.
Yeah. And that helps to hear it from you too, because in my experience, sometimes, and we love our appraisers, sometimes appraisers can be a little bit vague with maybe how they word something on a report as far as repair conditions go.
Yep.
So it's great to have professionals like yourselves to kind of translate that and tell us, here's exactly what you need to do and get on it as quickly as possible.
And that's what I love about our position is, we've gotten to know a lot of these management companies, and we call the appraiser, hey, instead of going around and around, what exactly can we do to fix this? Can I send pictures to you? You have to go back out. So I know specifically when I'm calling that agent, here's how we resolve this.
Yeah.
Period.
Well, and to piggyback on that a little bit too, if you're having a conversation with the agents, do you see anything before we send the appraiser out there that there's going to be an issue? Do you see any mold that's, obvious on the basement walls? Do you
Water in the basement?
Is there water in the basement? Are there handrails there?
Does the hot water tank have a TPR pipe?
Yes.
Right. So there's all those kind of
Drip.
things that you can potentially have that remedied before the appraiser goes out there to negate the need for the appraiser to go back out there, and that also incurs an additional cost. So it's good to have that communication with everybody, and sometimes the listing agent too. Do you foresee any issues with this? It's really important to communicate to everybody in the transaction.
It's easy.
If you've got a solid team with a VA buyer, that will help you to propose that to a listing agent, because you're right, listing and buying agents kind of run a little scared from VA.
And FHA, because they tie into the same needs for that appraisal.
Different layers
However,
of underwriting.
if you're working with Motto Mortgage One, we're calling those listing agents. Hey, listen, Mark is sending over an offer for 123 Main Street. I want to let you know that this is a VA buyer. However, they are completely clear to close. I just need the appraisal. My claim to fame, I had the listing agent. She told me from the beginning, she's like, there's no way you can close this in 2 weeks. I closed the VA loan with an appraisal in 6 days.
Wow.
And she is now sending me her business.
Of course. That's the reason you're doing it, man.
Right.
I love it.
Well, what about you, Mark? Did you have any AMP agent questions?
I do. I get oftentimes our agents, both experienced, been on the platform for 4 or 5 years, and newer agents. We're reaching out through pillars of prospecting and nurturing our sphere. We have social media, Bold Trail, geo-farming, open houses, networking. All of these conversations in their lives start. Somebody finds out you got your license and they're in your family or your church. How's it going? And there's just this period of time where taking that initial conversation and pushing that towards consulting with those folks that kind of pop up and say, hey, the time is right for me to buy or sell my house right now. And it's that transition between a conversation and a consultation. And we're actually doing a raffle. This gives me a shameless plug opportunity. The Agent Mentorship Platform in the month of May is doing a raffle for our agents exclusively. I'm going to give away 10 of those bracelets that have your business card on them, because that's where the rubber meets the road, right? If I'm talking to you at a party, we don't know each other, and we've had a conversation about real estate, as often happens, because our worlds are imbued with real estate. You guys are always talking about lending no matter where you are. I want to continue that conversation and take it to a consultation at a time in the future. So getting a name and a cell phone number and an email address at a minimum is really important. So we're going to try to make that easier for our agents and just have bracelets with their information on it. But
I've always loved your tried and true approach to that. In the past, you've told me that you typically hand them a business card. Two business cards. They keep one of them they write their information on and give back to you.
Yeah, and the guys, again, part of this is, well, I don't want to sound salesy. I don't either. I don't remember the last time I sold a house. You don't either.
Right.
Remember the last time I assisted somebody to buy one.
Mm-hmm.
That's a different thing. In order to assist somebody, you've got to connect with them. You know, a conversation at a gathering or a networking event that happened 2 weeks ago, great. If you expect that person to remember you and call you, if 2 weeks later they're thinking about buying a home, that's not going to work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's our position to educate, assist. I'm repeating myself again. Bring expertise and facts to the situation. You can only do that if you stay in touch with somebody.
Absolutely.
So conversion from conversation to consultation is a question I get a lot, and we're going to try to make it easier for our agents.
That's fun. I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to that.
So am I.
Kyle, Kelly, do you guys have any questions that have popped up recently or pop up consistently that you think might be fun to talk about or share?
It's pointing at you, Kelly.
I see that.
You're on.
I think a lot of the first-time home buyers that are going through the process, there is a fear in their minds that they think it is going to be a very long, tedious, difficult process. And when you can walk them through it, and a lot of times the agents that we work with have already started that conversation for us. Well, here's what you need. Here's what they're going to ask you for. Like Kyle said, if they have an idea of where their credit score falls, those are all important pieces. And I just recently closed a transaction for a Red One agent that she didn't think there was any way in the world that she was going to be able to purchase a home.
The buyer didn't.
The buyer
The
didn't.
agent was positive.
The agent didn't know because the buyer told her that, gosh, I don't know. I don't know if my income's going to work.
Yeah.
She had some job changes. And that was a case that we had her cleared to close in 7 days, and we had to wait for the seller to close. We were sitting there for 30 days waiting to close. But, that's what makes this rewarding for me, that somebody who thought they were going to have to go rent another apartment for another year, sign another lease, that she got into a home. She was in before Thanksgiving, and so thankful that she was able to do this when she had these fears that, oh my gosh, I don't know if my credit's good enough. I don't know if I have enough down payment. There's a ton of first-time homebuyer programs out there where they can put 3% down. If we get some seller concessions, we can also price it accordingly, that there could be a lender credit to help bridge that gap a little bit for the funds that they have for closing. But again, I think it's that first-time homebuyer fear, that they're afraid of the process. They've heard so many horror stories from friends and family, how difficult it's going to be, and it's not. You're working with the right people, the right agent, the right lender. It's an easy process. And if you're not quite ready yet, we can put you on the path to get you there.
Yep.
Love that.
Awesome.
We make agents better, faster on the AMP platform, and you guys.
We close faster for cheaper.
Those go great together.
Perfect.
Love it. Well, that's going to take us into our last segment of the podcast that we call Mindset Matters, sponsored by D.R. Horton. And this segment's all about inspirational quotes or stories, practical advice, anything relating to entrepreneurism or business or real estate or anything in between. Mark, did you have anything lined up for
I do.
mindset?
I'll start us off, and it dovetails with what we've been talking about. And I heard this. It's not mine. So agents and newer agents, experienced agents who need a reset, loan officers, newer to the business or experience, start with an education, right? Where I'm learning about growing a real estate business. I'll keep it with real estate. So we educate them. We give them facts and assistance. That's, thankfully, we consider it to be expert advice. There's a combined over 60 years of experience on this leadership team. So you start with, educate yourself. The next step is take that education, this is the mindset, and execute on it. And if you know how to use the MLS, then use it consistently. If you know how to use Bold Trail or geofarming or open it, use it consistently. So execute on that education. And then the third step is to do that consistently, which is where, again, your skill set and your ability to coach the pillars of prospecting has really helped a bunch of our agents. So educate yourself, execute on that education, and then execute consistently. That's the mindset every day in real estate. I'm educated, I'm executing, and I'm doing it every day that my life allows me to. We're fond of saying on this platform, everybody has these categories. We were talking about this earlier.
Yep.
We don't need to talk about it on the podcast, but everybody goes through stuff, right? You got family, faith, even if it's in yourself, a social life, and many people who are in real estate and in loan origination have a job outside of that business. When you combine all that, the consistency piece is critical. Find the time. You're passionate about real estate. You're educated. Execute, and do it every day.
Yeah, that ties in perfectly. I was going to talk about discipline, and I think it's the exact same thing. You've got all these tools. You've got your pillars of prospecting. You've got your sphere. You've got your all these different tools that you can use. It's just about finding the time and staying disciplined about doing those tasks. Even if in doing them, you don't feel like you're getting a lot done while you're doing them. Those getting them done each day consistently will add up and will contribute to the success of your business.
Small, actionable steps.
That's it.
Repeated.
Absolutely. Kyle, Kelly, do you guys have any kind of mindset, philosophies that you carry into your business that help drive you every day that you'd love to share with the people watching this?
Well, I like to be available for people when they need me. If that is in the evening after they get off work, if it's Saturday, if it's Sunday, whenever the case may be. If they are out looking at a home on the weekend and it's a little higher priced and they want to know, can I afford this? I want to make sure that I'm available to them. When I have questions like that for something that is a big decision in my life, I want an answer quick.
Yeah.
And if you don't have an answer quick, or if you're working with that big bank, you're not going to get a response until Monday, maybe Tuesday. I feel it's very important, but it's also important, as you said, Mark, to have a work-life balance. So if I'm working all day, Saturday or Sunday, helping people that are out looking at homes, I'll take some me time during the week.
Yeah.
And the nice part about this job is that there is some flexibility that if I need to do something during the week, I don't feel bad that if I have to go to the grocery store Wednesday afternoon at 2:00 instead of on the weekend, which is perfectly fine with me. But again, I want to be available. I want to help people in their time of need when they need answers. So that's kind of my philosophy.
That is a great mindset. And Kyle, before you pitch in, here's what I just heard. Kelly Whittington with Motto One Mortgage is available 24/7, 7 days a week.
When I'm awake.
When she's awake. Kyle?
Love it. And I'll just kind of close it with this. I mean, I've built my business the past 22 years with the simple motto of, this is what I do for a living. It is no longer a job. This is a lifestyle. I'm helping people change their lives. Because I will tell you, when I bought my first home, it opened so many more doors into my life.
Yes.
And for me to be able to share that with somebody, I don't have a job anymore. It's a lifestyle. And whether I need to do that at 10 p.m. when the kids are in bed, whether I need to do that at 7 a.m. after I drop the kids off, it's just adjusting to that lifestyle. And even as an agent, any AMP agent, if you guys can adjust your life to, it's not a job anymore, it's a lifestyle, and develop yourself around that, it's easy. It's all easy.
The other day I was speaking to an AMP agent, and you both just touched on it, and I can call this guy literally 24/7. The agent said, I don't have the time for that. And lovingly and respectfully, I said, let's flip that coin over. What you mean to say is you didn't find the time for it or make time for it. It's hard. That's brutally honest. It's a little bit, aggressive, but it's the truth. So it's not that you can't find the time. Make the time for it when it's important.
100%.
Execute and be consistent. I don't care what time of the day it is.
It's all about being of assistance, right?
That's right.
All right, Mark, I think that brings us to the end of our episode.
Well, then let's just end the episode this way. Guys, thanks so much for being here on the AMP podcast. We appreciate you. Daniel, thank you again for all your time and expertise. Kyle, thanks for being here. Appreciate
Mark,
you.
Justin, we appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely.
Appreciate you. Kelly, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Justin, as always, it was great seeing you. I appreciate you a bunch. Guys, don't forget to like and subscribe to the AMP podcast on all your favorite podcast libraries. Take time to go to the agentmentorshipplatform.com for more info. You can reach out to all of us. Justin, what's your cell phone?
740-275-1277.
Reach out to Justin if you want more information as an agent of Red One or outside the brokerage. My cell phone number is 614-395-6275. Thanks again. We appreciate you guys, and have a great rest of the week.
Bye.